No matter how the cachet of the WNBA elevates, remember, it could have been even better. You messed it up. You messed it up.
Okay, this is wild. You know those moments where you just want to scream, "I'll never recover from this"? Well, that's basically the WNBA right now, because Caitlin Clark's European offer could literally change the game forever. Seriously, with her move looking more and more real, the league is in a full-blown panic. And honestly, maybe they should have thought about treating their biggest star with a little more respect, because without CC, who's even going to watch, what's even more insane is that these are the very people Caitlin had to deal with all season. People who seem totally inexperienced and incapable of running the league. And just look what happened. She absolutely dominated, blasting past records like it was nothing, while the WNBA crumbled around her.
I know she will do her best. I know she's talented, but she's not strong enough and she doesn't have enough experience right now to compete at this.
And honestly, when you look at it, Caitlin had no choice but to listen to everyone saying she needs out. She absolutely deserves a fresh start, right? A league that actually appreciates its top players instead of constantly singling them out. Because let's be real, the constant animosity thrown her way, that's more than enough for anyone to walk away.
Nonsense about things that Caitlin was doing wrong, when in my personal opinion she was doing nothing but going out there and playing great basketball every night and ignoring the hate that was coming to her from all sides, not only from fans.
Plot twist. Caitlin Clark just got hit with an absolutely insane contract offer to play in Europe. And here's the kicker, it looks like she's actually considering it. But wait until you hear this. There's so much more to the story. Despite all the hype, all the admiration, and her undeniable impact on the game, Caitlin has faced some serious problems in the WNBA. We're talking about the league failing to protect its star players and a complete lack of support on the court. You're probably thinking, how could that happen? Well, these issues have piled up, leading to what could be one of the most shocking career moves ever. Basically, Caitlin has finally had enough of how the WNBA has treated her, and she's ready to quit. And if she goes, the shockwaves could literally rock the WNBA to its core. Let me break this down for you. The WNBA just hasn't given Clark the respect and care a player of her caliber deserves. We've seen it over and over again. Opponents getting away with super aggressive, sometimes even dangerous play when guarding her. It's almost like the league just stood by and let it happen. Whether it was zero protection on the court, constant targeting, or just plain indifferent.
Look at what the NBA became. Even when Jordan was ascending and the league clearly saw that that was the dude, and Nike was marketing the living hell out of Michael Jordan. I want to be like Mike. It was still Bird and Magic.
You know, some might even argue the WNBA's let this happen because a little controversy definitely gets people talking and boosts those viewing numbers. But here's what's really happening. Caitlin feels that the lack of protection has gone way too far. Despite all the social media outrage from her fans demanding more protection, justice, and respect, little to nothing has changed. It really feels like the league just didn't care enough to make those necessary adjustments, and now Clark feels completely abandoned.
You weren't making a basketball argument. You weren't making a basketball argument.
We're not saying
No, Andrea, I'm not gonna let you do that.
Go ahead,
Andrea, I'm not gonna let you make it seem like Caitlin Clark was averaging 5 points a game. At the time, she was still averaging 16 points a game, which was more than a lot of other guards that made the team. So don't do that. Don't make it seem like she was averaging 5 points and this was like a handout.
No.
Talk about a complete mess, right? It's like the whole situation just spiraled, leaving everyone asking what just happened here.
Look at her numbers. Look at her numbers comparable to the other guards that were on the team. That's all I'm saying.
And now, after season of being unfairly targeted and mistreated, Caitlin Clark is finally listening to her fans. She's decided to take control of her career by leaving the WNBA because she's just had enough of the league's complete disregard. Her immense talent, dedication, and impact on the game have been acknowledged for ages, and now Clark is ready for a brand new chapter. So, let's talk about the repercussions. There's no need to sugarcoat it. The WNBA is on the verge of a major downturn. And the reason they totally failed to recognize Caitlin Clark's critical role in their success. Without Clark, the WNBA would instantly suffer financially and in terms of viewership. Everyone watched Caitlin Clark whenever she was on the court, whether they were casual fans or die-hard basketball fanatics. She was a major attraction for the league.
Watching women's basketball right now, it all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too.
Her departure leaves the WNBA with an absolutely enormous hole to fill. Sure, the league has other gifted athletes like DJ Carrington and Angel Reese, but let's be honest, they just don't have Clark's unique strength and personality. This isn't to minimize their skill. They're both amazing athletes, but Caitlin Clark was performing at a completely different level. People were drawn to her fearless shooting, her ability to dominate games, and that intense competitive nature, making her a must-watch athlete. She wasn't just a player, she was a movement. The WNBA is only now realizing the true magnitude of Caitlin Clark's impact. If she were to leave, the league would lose millions of dollars in sponsorships, TV deals, ticket sales, and merchandising. The cost will be enormous, and to make matters worse, it was entirely preventable. The league had every chance to protect Caitlin on the court, show her the respect she deserved as the league's spokesperson, and give her the assistance she required, but they
Fact that she was getting all of that, yet all of these eyeballs were coming to the league because of her. They were turning, the Indiana Fever was turning away games into home.
They will now be held accountable for allowing these issues to fester. Caitlin's exit is a game changer that could have catastrophic consequences for the league's future. So, in Europe, what exactly has been promised to Caitlin Clark? The staggering amounts being thrown around would stop anyone cold. Several sources claim the contract she's been guaranteed is far more than the WNBA has ever provided. In the Euro League, players are treated like kings and queens. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for Caitlin. She made the decision to move overseas because she would not only be making a lot more money but also have the benefit of playing fewer games, which would allow her more time to relax, recover, and play at her absolute best.
Viewership, which is up 400% to 40%. Between ticket sales, which is up 93% to 16%. Between regular game viewership, which is up 180% to 20%. What Caitlin Clark has done is grown the WNBA exponentially. She did in 5 weeks what would have taken 5 years. And as it pertains to draft viewership, she did in 5.
But wait until you hear this. Europe is offering Caitlin the chance to represent the entire league, not just a contract. Imagine Caitlin walking onto the court as the lights go down and thousands of people applaud her loudly. In such packed settings, the energy is absolutely palpable. The EuroLeague is prepared to make her the center of their brand and treat her like the global superstar she is, because they know these supporters are rooting for her. As she takes a deep three, the stadium echoes with every cheer from the audience. But this time it's different. Do you care how it feels? On top of providing Caitlin with a new platform to dominate, Europe is working to establish her as the biggest basketball star in the world, with arenas packed with devoted fans who cheer and admire her every move. As Caitlin Clark gets ready to embark on a new chapter of brilliance, Europe is ready to make sure she shines brighter than ever before. But she isn't the only one making noteworthy progress. Other WNBA players are starting to look for greater opportunities overseas by taking the same path. For example, while Caitlin is reportedly traveling to Europe, Nalissa Smith and Kelsey Mitchell have decided to spend their off-season playing in China. In terms of salary and player experience, the WNBA's pay structure simply cannot compete with what international leagues are providing. This trend is quickly growing, as more WNBA players realize that playing abroad not only offers much higher compensation, but also better treatment overall. Players like Caitlin, Kelsey, and Nalissa are seeing the advantages of fewer games, more rest, and higher earnings, making the decision to play internationally almost a no-brainer. When you compare the schedules, compensation, and player care offered overseas, it's easy to understand why more athletes are choosing this path. While all this is going on, Jason Whitlock believes Caitlin should start an unrivaled league where the best of the best compete against each other in the off-season of the WNBA. This would mean players like Kelsey Mitchell and Nalissa Smith wouldn't need to travel abroad to earn their wage. Instead, they could make their money in America with an unrivaled league full of talent. This will give players better opportunities, and they will be able to make something out of this rise of talent in the women's game. We have some incredible prospects coming through, yet they aren't going to receive the pay they deserve. Instead, they will have to generate their income through sponsorships. But this unrivaled league idea adds a whole different spectrum to the table. Back to Caitlin Clark and the WNBA. This shift should serve as a massive wake-up call for women's basketball. The league is at serious risk of losing not just Caitlin Clark, but other top players as well. If the WNBA doesn't step up and reevaluate how they compensate and treat their athletes, they could face a mass exodus. Players no longer have to accept less when international leagues are willing to offer them so much more. The WNBA must quickly reevaluate its goals if it hopes to prevent an even greater talent drain in the future. What blew my mind was that the WNBA didn't seem to make a lot of effort to keep Caitlin Clark. There was no big offer, no grand gesture, nothing to demonstrate how valuable she was to the league. Instead, they essentially let her go without a fight, which is a perplexing decision. Wow, that may be the most shocking part of this whole situation. Even though Clark was a once-in-a-generation talent and had the potential to be the biggest star in American sports, the WNBA let her slide through their fingers. For a league that has been putting a lot of effort into growing its fan base and competing on a larger scale, this is a huge error. This decision will undoubtedly be regretted by the WNBA and have a detrimental effect on their financial performance. The Caitlin Clark effect was real. She was single-handedly raising the league's profile, attracting new fans and igniting excitement unlike any other player in recent memory. Her departure forces the WNBA to confront the unpleasant reality that they are no longer the premier destination for the world's best players. The league hadn't experienced such a high level of interest and excitement in years, but Clark was just starting to gain notoriety. Other leagues are offering better contracts because they get better treatment and play fewer games, making them a more desirable option. The WNBA argues that it's the premier league in women's basketball, but now that's in jeopardy because of Caitlin Clark's exit. To recover from this loss, they will have to work incredibly hard. With Caitlin Clark leaving for Europe, the whole basketball landscape is set to shift. She has a fantastic opportunity to advance her career in an environment where her talent will be fully acknowledged and appreciated.